Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Danielle, Michelle, and Maya, all from Spark. And if you're just tuning in, Spark, Danielle, remind us what that stands for.
Spark stands for Supporting Partnerships to Assure Ready Kids.
So we're going to assure some ready kids this fall. What is so important about being ready for kindergarten? I mean, isn't it just enough that a kid can tie their shoe and just step on into the classroom and say, okay, teach me, I'm ready to go?
Really, one of the most important things is that social emotional piece. We'll go back to that again. But being able to sit down in, a seat, follow directions, listen to the teacher, interact with the other classmates. If a child can do that, they can learn anything. Mm-hmm. So, yes, it is important that they know their colors and their numbers and everything, but really just being able to be in that classroom and have the ability to learn.
Being ready to learn.
Being ready to learn.
And there are some things that we can do at home to make a child excited and ready to learn. I'm just fascinated because, Maya, you're just the perfect example. You're so excited for kindergarten. You know you're going to do great. You're going to just rock it. You know that. And tell me a little bit about, I know you're excited about recess, but have you visited your school yet? Have you seen your classroom? Have you gone to visit? Not yet. Not yet? Not yet. Okay. Tell me when that happens, Mom. Do you know?
Yes. So we are going to open house next week on the 15th.
Ooh.
And so Maya is so excited. She wanted to hurry up and get all of her school supplies. And we're able to go there. With this particular district, she has a phase 1 day and phase 2 day.
Nice.
And so she's excited about that. She's definitely excited to meet her teacher. She's been praying for her teacher.
Oh, how nice.
And so that's all she's been talking about.
A teacher appreciates that for sure. It's very different. Kindergarten back in the day, and I'm going to go back in the day when I was a kindergartner. Half day, part of that day was a nap. There was a break for juice and crackers. There was not a lot of learning going on. I remember something called a weekly reader that we would get once in a while, weekly, I suppose. But my goodness, kindergarten has come so far. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that, Danielle. What happens in a kindergarten classroom that takes a group of children who have not been to school yet, or maybe they've been to preschool, but you've got a conglomeration of some who have and some who have not, and you take them from that point and you make them first graders. You turn them into first graders in 9 months.
They are, like we said a little bit ago, reading and writing immediately in the classroom. So that is something that they do need to be prepared for. And go ahead, Michelle.
Just teaching kindergarten last year in a specific district, I found that the students who were not prepared, who did not have preschool, or who were not involved with Spark, when they would come in, they had no idea what the expectation was. Mm-hmm. They had no idea, again, what truly their name was. They had no idea how to identify their name. They didn't even know the letter A. They didn't know that it was appropriate to actually sit on their chair on your bottom. And then, how we raise a hand. So many of the expectations just were not there. So then you're falling behind, and then state is saying, hey, our kids need to be up here. Mm-hmm. And so as kindergarten teachers, it's just like, oh, my goodness, how are we going to get the kid who is not aware of school, right. How are we going to get him from, point A to, in the middle here where most of them are coming in already there at that level. Mm-hmm. And so, unfortunately, they start to fall behind. And then it's like a trend. It's like they continue to keep going on and they're falling behind. I think, too, what's so great about Spark is that we have Kent State, one of our professors that want to follow our children to continue throughout to prove that early childhood education, because we're providing that education in the homes,
right.
How it does work, where the students who did not receive that education before they went into kindergarten.
And a lot of this is just making parents aware that this is available.
Yes.
This goes across socioeconomic lines. This is just helping parents, partnering with parents, getting their children ready for school. And it's, as we're saying, school's a whole different ballgame than it used to be.
Absolutely.
So What are, again, some things that we want to instill in our children to make them excited about learning? Are there some things?
Attitude as opposed to saying, oh, gosh. Because you'll hear that. And the biggest thing is that our students or our children, they model exactly what the parent does. So if the parent is continuously saying, hey, you know what, I don't like to read, then you know what, that kid's going to turn out and say, I don't like to read either. But when we start to turn that attitude or, to positive, then the child's going to start to do the same thing too.
Yeah, I'm thinking if they see you reading, then children like to model. They like, we'll pull out a cookbook and let's read what goes into it and let's make this together.
Oh, you can even teach them on measuring too.
Exactly. Your day-to-day stuff, if you do together and make it a game, doesn't learning just kind of happen?
And that's kind of how the Spark lessons are. It's not just maybe sitting down and like the child's bored because they're just, we're going to show you this letter and this is this letter. Spark really has these activities so that they are age appropriate and the child is having fun while they are learning.
What do we know? How long have we been doing this now, Danielle?
So Spark has been in existence since 2003.
So pretty many years. We've probably gotten to see some children progress all the way through. What do we know? As you were talking about, Michelle, that they're watching to see the difference that the children who've had it versus the children who have not had it.
So we do have an evaluator that has followed the program through the whole existence, and we have seen that the children that are that have gone through Spark are outscoring their peers. And it starts with the kindergarten readiness assessment, the KRA, all the way up to, the third grade, the fifth grade, the testing through high school and stuff. And we did have in the last, I think, year and a half, 2 years, our first high school graduates that participated in Spark.
Wow.
So
wow.
That's a pretty neat thing to see.
It really is. And they would have fun memories of that as well.
We talked to a couple. We did do an interview on a couple of them, and their parents, of course, remembered, but some of them didn't quite remember their time in Spark.
Let's talk about technology. That's a big thing now in the classroom. And what I know about Spark, at least so far, is that you are still working with hands-on physical books. Is there a reason for that as opposed to grabbing an iPad and saying, today we're going to read this?
Yeah, the whole, fine motor skills right there, getting the children to actually cut and write and everything like that. There's so many times that a child doesn't even know how to hold the pencil correctly. So instilling those skills in them first, that is probably one of the most important things that we...
And also book awareness. So many students are not aware of book awareness. Some of them, you'll give them a book and they're not aware that, hey, this is the front cover, this is the spine, this is the back cover, or even a title. Even though technology is fantastic, but with having that book right there, they're able to touch it, feel it, see it.
Because maybe all that they've seen is people reading from a screen.
Yes.
What's good, what's bad about screen time? How much is okay for a child, a preschool child? What is not okay?
And personally, I think every child's different. So what is appropriate for one may not be appropriate for another. So that's really, for me, not to state, you know what I mean? Because I really don't know that.
But you know your own
different.
child.
Absolutely.
If you start to see maybe some not good behavior, maybe it could be too much screen time.
Absolutely.
So just get to know your own child.
I would definitely suggest if parents are listening right now, like, oh, well, my child does read. I give them the iPad or I give them their Leapfrog or I give them my phone and they're reading on that. Well, that's fantastic. But at the same time, you still want to take at least 5 to 10 minutes a day to open up a book together and read together.
It's not a substitute for that.
That's right.
I also wondered about, there's Teddy Ruxpin and some of these things that read to your child. And I always thought, is that really the worst part of my day? Why do I need a stuffed animal to do the reading to my children when I kind of look forward to that forced downtime as well? It's kind of nice to have that little relaxation. It's just there's even the physical contact of sitting on the lap and reading together.
Yes.
That one-on-one time between the parent and the child of just enjoying that book together.
Is that what we're talking about when we're also instilling that emotional growth and emotional preparedness for kindergarten?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm thinking about, you mentioned how many different levels children walk into that first classroom. And I know that every parent listening is going to want theirs to be one that's ready and all set to be there. So talk to me about everything that we can do. Probably a good breakfast, a good night's sleep. Take it from there. Go with it. What is important to get our child ready for that first day?
Yes, make sure, that they're not up watching television, from like 11 or 12 o'clock at night or even 10 o'clock at night, watching scary movies. I mean, even though that our kids are just like, yeah, I've taught them that this is fake, but they're still little and they're still going to believe that it's real. And so they're going to have nightmares. You do want them to have a good night's sleep before and wake up, early. Give them a good breakfast. Early meaning like, maybe an hour or two before school. Pump them up. Be their cheerleader. Like, you can do this. I believe in you.
Yes.
This is going to be awesome.
I would say talk to them beforehand and just kind of say, here's how it's going to go. This is what it's going to be like, on that first day of school. Obviously, going to the open houses, meeting the teacher ahead of time is a number one thing, especially for those little kindergartners to know.
Preparing for that classroom culture, because that is not going to be the same as home. Whenever you need whatever, run to the refrigerator or go whenever, but having to learn to work in a group and that you are not the center of the universe. That's a big lesson for most of us.
Spark has some supplemental programs, and one of them is that we partner with the school district to give a program called Get Ready for School. And that is bringing the children into the school ahead of time and practicing school, getting them familiar with, okay, we have to line up, here's the bathroom, tour the school, just kind of familiarize them with everything that's going to happen.
Is there anything, once a child goes off to kindergarten, that parents can still do with Spark, maybe online programs or something like that? Or is that, okay, you're on your own now, have fun, and you bring in the next crop of kids?
Well, we do end the program when the child does enter into kindergarten.
Okay, that's it. You launch them.
We launch them. We transition them. That's what we call.
Okay.
We do show up at a lot of our parent partners do go to the schools the first days of school.
Neat.
Just to have that familiar face there for a lot of the Spark kids. So that is a nice way to.
Some families still probably don't know that they qualify, that they live in a district that has this. How do you get your family signed up for it?
So we are enrolling children that are 3 and 4 years old. And again, we are in the school districts of Alliance, Canton City, Canton Local, Fairless, Massillon, Minerva, Perry, Plain, and Sandy Valley.
Awesome.
So we are a free program. You can call our phone number at 330-455-2972, and we can get you linked to a parent partner so you can be in Spark.
Wonderful. Danielle Bunner, Michelle Hessen, and Maya Hessen, you have a wonderful first year of school, okay? Have a great first day and a wonderful kindergarten year.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you do in our community.